What is up, coordinators and naturals? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode, we are concluding Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny Astray B. Last time, Dante prevented Elsa from getting in the way of the battle with Guy. Guy went up against Lily in the Blitz. Once Elsa and Lily realized they were tricked, they went on the hunt for Dante. This time, we see the fight between Dante and Guy finally play out. Elsa searches for Guy thinking he killed Dante, and we get to see Dante go up against Prayer. So let's conclude this. They were able to find out that Guy and Serpentel are still alive, but Dante is nowhere to be found. When they met with Laura Lottie of the clan, they realized they have the Noir Striker, but it's missing its Noir Striker pack. In the cockpit were two swords. Dante carried these swords with him at all times. Laura believes that Dante has fallen to Guy. She asks Elsa if she wants to seek revenge and work for the clan to kill Guy. They plan on mounting a new Zaft backpack on the Astray Noir for her to use. So it's quite possible that I did miss it, but there is an important nugget here that isn't mentioned. But Laura Lottie is Matisse. Remember, she is working with the clan, while her brother Matthias works as an informant, who tries to take down the clan. This is all covered in Gundam Seed Destiny Astray. Several months have passed since Dante and Guy's battle. Much has changed since then. Junior 7 has fell to Earth, and Mina has made her declaration of the sky already. War once again began between coordinators and naturals. Somewhere in North America happens to be Guy. With him is the Blue Frame D. Next to him is Astray Noir, which is now equipped with the Destiny Silhouette Pack. Apparently this prototype pack goes on to inspire Destiny, and is used on Destiny Impulse Gundam R that we will see in Destiny Astray R, and Abar is Elsa in a red dress waiting for him. She starts to sing. He is moved by the song. This must be what it feels like to hear one of Lacus Klein's songs for the first time. The two drink coffee and she describes the taste. This was Dante's thing. They bond over a cup of coffee. Guy was avoiding her for as long as possible. She tells Guy that this song was a skill she developed on her own. They take this outside where Elsa gives Guy one of Dante's swords. She has the other one. The two begin the battle as snow begins falling. The two assassins dance with swords for a little bit before they decide to take their battle to their mobile suits. Elsa gives her swords to Lily, who was with her this whole time. She tells her not to get involved. Elsa recognizes that the clan is using her, but she doesn't care. The Blue Frame D has been slightly upgraded since the battle with Dante. Elsa went naked in the cockpit. Guy's addition to his mobile suit is the blade gun, similar to Dante's sword pistols. One thing to note also is that in between this time jump, the clan has fallen. So the whole situation with Matisse and Matthias has already taken place. The two begin their fight. Elsa creates Mirage Colloid after images. The illusions act as decoys, but Guy doesn't take the bait. Guy makes a move. His attack is similar to Dante's. Their battle wages on. Elsa does something that she did to Dante, and he calls her father. He hesitates. Elsa instantly knows that it is Dante in the Blue Frame, not Guy. But why was he fighting her? Why did he disappear? We return to Dante and Guy's fight. Guy unleashes his Dragoons. Dante didn't give him this ability, but he seems to have special awareness. Dragoon stands for Disconnected Rapid Armament Group Overlook Operation Network System. Ugh. Dante is certain that he could fight against this. He recalls his encounter with Prayer Reverie in Nyx Providence. Keep this in mind, we will return to this. Guy also has Mirage Colloid Dragoons, along with Sensor Dragoons and Beam Bending Technology, thanks to the L Striker, or Vuiva Striker. This was definitely more than Dante imagined. He is aware that he can't win this battle, but he doesn't surrender. He wants to see everything that Guy is capable of. Suddenly, more Mirage Colloid Dragoons make their appearance. The beam from the Dragoons bend. The novel describes it as a Mirage Colloidal magnetic field that allows one to bend light. This was also used on Forbidden Gundam. This wouldn't be great for war, but perfect for a duel like this. Dante creates a desperate smokescreen. He detaches his striker pack and uses it like a wired gun barrel. So Guy does something similar. He detaches his L striker to reduce the weight and give him a slight edge in acceleration. Dante laughs as he had a fight with Guy in his dreams similar to this. Guy ultimately has the upper hand. He uses a Dragoon that delivers a concussive attack, knocking out Dante. He wakes up a few minutes later realizing that he lost. Dante wants Guy to kill him, but he refuses. He knows he did this for Elsa. He wanted to die by Guy's hands so Elsa would seek vengeance, and in doing so, would be influenced by Guy. That's a really dumb plan. If he won, then Dante would have just pushed her away. Why not just do that without the fight? Guy says, why don't we do this thing called lying? They would pretend that Dante has vanished. They first remove sensitive data from the Astray Noir, knowing that the clan would be coming after it after the battle. This plan is also pretty dumb. Back in the present, Dante opens the hatch of the Blue Frame and says, "Hey, what's up?" Just like nothing ever happened. Elsa is still naked, by the way. She gives him a naked hug. Aww, you. She decides not to even ask about why he chose to do this. Lily tells everyone to come inside the cabin and have some coffee. They head in where Lily decides to sing for everyone. Guy doesn't enter. He has Serpentale waiting for him. Mission complete. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny Astray B. But we got ourselves 2 bonus stories, so let's just dive right into it. Dante meets with Prayer. Prayer is a part of the Librarians. Dante notes his mobile suit is a silver duplicate of the mobile suit seen at the end of the First War. He made a deal with the clan to make his sword pistols, which led to him meeting Prayer. Dante assumes he is here to make a payment in the form of a favor. He knows the Librarians are the only ones who could make the sword pistols to his standards, so he is willing to pay almost anything. They ask for Dante to take care of Lily. He took care of Elsa, so she knows he is capable of doing so. He is hesitant, but ultimately accepts. It will give Elsa a friend that she could relate to. Prayer wants him to test his sword pistols on him. He shows him the Nyx Providence. Dante is stunned to see a nuclear-powered mobile suit. The two begin. Prayer unleashes Dragoons. This novel has solidified the fact that an L Striker pack can outmaneuver Dragoons. The cool thing about the sword pistol is the ability to fire mid-swing. Dante slices down on a Dragoon and cleaves through it. He is also able to use the sword pistol to slice a beam in half. The writer explains that in Cosmic Era, a beam isn't light, but particles charged with energy. Dante says, "Ha! I sliced through your Dragoon." Prayer says, "Yes, I definitely didn't do that on purpose to collect data on you." Prayer praises him and wants to continue, but Dante doesn't want to push it too much before his important battle with Guy. You know, his stupid plan? He wants to stop and he yells, "You could come out." A mobile suit appears. It is Lily in the Blitz. She wants to know how he knew she was there. He explains how the sword pistols act up when around Mirage Colloid. He didn't know this would be the girl that he would be taking in. Part of Elsa's story is left untold. Elsa and Lily went down to fight Elijah while Dante went to fight Guy. She did so because she still wanted to kill Kazahana for knowing her secret. Reed deliberately chose a location for Kazahana that would give Elsa the advantage. Elijah wants to stick to just fighting and not use any tricks. The traps would be used as a last resort then. They go through with the plan, but they didn't expect someone to be at the base. This is still at the South American base post-revolution, which we saw in Frame Astrays. It is a little girl that looks similar to Kazahana. She says that Matthias sent her here. She is here to be Kazahana's decoy so they don't have another incident like at Orb. 2 mobile suits are approaching. It is Lily and Elsa. In-jammers make it hard for them to spot enemies quickly. Elijah says, "Oh well," and presses a button. This explodes the runway, getting Elsa's attention. She comes in and says, "How do you want to do this, by hand or by mobile suit?" Elijah doesn't want to fight a naked girl, so he chooses mobile suits. Elsa whips out her Slayer whip, but targets the fake Kazahana. Elijah tries to get her to fight him. Lily's mobile suit is hidden somewhere nearby. They are probably trying to do a pincer maneuver. Luckily, Elijah has a secret up his sleeve. A mobile suit is above South America. It matches its velocity with the rotation of the Earth to maintain its position. It is Canard Parnes and the Dreadnought H. The runway explosion acted as a signal for him. The Dreadnought uses the Buster mode and fires its cannons. Elsa uses the rollers on her feet to evade. He keeps firing at predetermined locations, though they seem random to Elsa. It forces Elsa to stay within a certain area and fight Elijah. The beam blasts cause charged particles to scatter everywhere, forcing Lily to pull back. Mirage Colloid is ineffective. The two begin their fight. She bursts out the Slayer whip and attacks. Then she uses the vice on Elijah's mobile suit. He is mangled from the attack but still hanging in there. Elijah says screw it and pushes both of them towards the location of Canard's next beam attack. Both suits are hit by the beam blast, though the impact was minimized because the beam degrades over time and weakens apparently. He then fires point-blank rounds, taking out her mobile suit. Elsa is still alive. She wakes up to an empty base, not realizing Guy and Dante's fight already took place. She looks for Lily in the Blitz. Somewhere else, she is unconscious and her cockpit is open. Only Lily could open the hatch, so who knocked her out? It turns out Prayer sent another Lily to sabotage Elsa's plan. He believes that Serpentale is the only ones that can bring down the Librarians, and he needs them alive. We are seeing the self-sabotage nature of Prayer that we will eventually see at the end of Versus Astray. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny Astray B. I love the Astrayverse, but this might be the weakest story thus far. This seemed quite long and drawn out for a plan that was ultimately really silly. This is a product of introducing Lily and Dante this late in the game. Much of their backstory probably should have been interwoven into a previous Astray story, but because they are new, here are some very contrived methods to help understand their past. Dante and Elsa are interesting, however, when you aren't throwing flashbacks down my throat. Hopefully now that they are out of the spotlight, they will tone it back a bit. Now that we have concluded Destiny Astray B, it is time to dive into Destiny Astray R. It will put the focus back on the Jump Guild and take place right after Lo returns from Mars, where he finds out the world is once again in turmoil. Liam is working closely with DSSD, and the Red Frame utilizes the Kaletovich? That's for future me to figure out how to pronounce. But that will do it for now, coordinators. Remember, there are better ways to teach your daughter independence than to fight to the death. Peace.